We wouldn't do that.
Hey, and I need all pros. And I'ma sip on this bug of my dog gone. Touch off on these niggas like I'm Waldo. Bitch, we gon' stay with the juice till it's all gone.
Ruthless. Yo, what's up? Welcome to episode 5 of the Effin Football Podcast. I'm your host, Rory JC. This is your host, Tyler Welty.
Yo, what up?
How y'all doing? So, the topic of today's podcast, let's just jump right into it. We're going to go with me and Ty Dolla $ign had our own podcast for episode 4, round 1 draft review. Ty Dolla $ign, MIA right now. Don't know where he's at, man.
He couldn't make it. He said, "Hey, yeah, I'm down," and then we all show up, and he's sleeping in his room with his dog.
He's sleeping on us, man. He's sleeping on us.
Yeah, literally sleeping on us. So
it's gonna be me and Welty. We're gonna be the terrible twosome. You know what I'm saying? So we out here. And today's topics, we're gonna break down something we know pretty well. You know what I mean? We're gonna do a draft review, team specific. I don't know if you can tell by the hat tonight. I'm a big time Oakland Raiders fan. If you're a fan of the podcast, you already know that. One of our legions of fans.
I'm a big time Chargers fan. Been a fan for years. So we got a little bit of a rivalry thing going on right now, but you're gonna get maybe a little bit of favoritism, a little bit of battles. It's gonna be an AFC West classic battle, Chargers Raiders. Except we're gonna do it draft style. So we're just gonna break down Chargers Raiders draft picks. We're gonna go pick by pick. And then we're just going to say how we would like to pick, see which we think of each guy, how the team fits with the player, and if we think it was a good value. If you think you got him a good spot, maybe you could have waited. Maybe you thought he was ridiculous. Maybe you thought it's going to work out. So we'll break it down for you guys.
We'll break it down today, Junior. I'm just kidding. I like to mess with this guy. I like to mess with some good motherfucking NFL draft picks, man. I get stoked for the draft season. I don't know who doesn't. This is the last, taste of the NFL and the long fucking, 40 years in the desert till we get to training camp. You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down pick by pick, literally in draft order. On the Raiders side, this is going to be kind of tough because this team traded 7 times within the first 7 rounds, so it's a lot of variation.
So they started with 11 picks going into the day, going into the draft.
I believe so. It's 10 or 11 picks.
Okay.
And they came out with 9 players plus 2 players they traded for, 2 veterans, 2 players already in the league. We'll break that down as we go through it. But I don't know if y'all caught the our mock draft version. We had none of the players we're talking about today were in the mock draft version. We only went first 12 picks. The Raiders were part of our mock draft, picking at number 10, and I was pretty stoked. I remember where I was, when I was I was at work, but I was kind of looking at my phone, what's going on with the draft right now. Drop the team off, I'm looking, I'm saying, okay, here comes the number 10 selection. And I was stoked because I really, if you caught the mock draft edition, I really wanted safety, Minka Fitzpatrick. Man, that guy, Alabama, beast mode, man. That guy's a playmaker. So good. There was some other talent on the table. A lot of people said Roquan Smith going to the Raiders, swooped up number 8 by the Bears. Vita Vea, though, very quality defensive tackle. He's on the board. So what the Raiders decided to do is trade down from 10. They found a trade partner with the Arizona Cardinals. Traded down from 10 to spot 15. In the trade, they picked up a 3rd rounder, number 79 overall. They got a 5th rounder, number 52 overall. And that was for the Cardinals to move up, pick the last potential franchise quarterback on the board after Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Josh Allen all went. They traded up and they got Josh Rosen at number 10, which I thought was a fucking steal. They stole. I just feel like they stole the pick. They stole the quarterback. I think he's one of the top, couple quarterbacks in the draft. I think it's debatable. It's a good move by the Cardinals. Raiders trade down. I was fucking pissed because after they traded out of the pick, the very next player off the board, the Miami Dolphins, Minka Fitzpatrick.
They were so excited. They were so
Minka
stoked to get
Fitzpatrick.
that. I mean, they just lost, and Ndamukong Suh. They're rebuilding over there, and that's going to be a solid piece for him. They're going to play some good defense. He's going to make plays. He's going to make plays.
Playmaker.
Turnovers, tackles for loss,
Tyrann
all
Mathieu.
those game-changing kind of plays that you want your defense to make. That's what Minka Fitzpatrick does. But yeah, all right. So who the Raiders get once they traded back with Arizona Cardinals?
Well, before we got to 15, right after Minka Fitzpatrick, the Washington Redskins were on the board at 12. And I took a bit of Villa.
You wanted Villa. I know you wanted him.
I wanted Minka. I wanted Villa. I would have taken Roquan Smith. I wanted all those motherfuckers. We got holes on defense, and I was hoping we'd fill them early. We didn't. We traded down to 15, and at 15, we took offensive tackle out of UCLA, Colton Miller, who was graded by most draft pundits as the number 2 offensive tackle in the draft, behind Mike McGlinchey out of Notre Dame, who went, by the way, the pick before the Raiders picked at 10, or would have picked at 10. He went to the 49ers at 9. Apparently the Raiders were super high on this guy. They wanted him, didn't make it. If Roquan Smith falls one more pick, he goes to the Niners, and the Raiders take, McGlinchey at 10. Instead, they trade down and get value. From what I heard, the Raiders were willing to take Colton Miller at 10, which is insanity to me, with those great defensive stars on the board. So they trade down to get some value out of the pick, a 3rd and a 5th rounder. Colton Miller, man, this guy he's an athlete. He tested as the most athletic lineman in the draft. He stands damn near a shade under 6'9". His weight is 309 pounds, I believe. The guy's got the frame of a franchise left tackle. Now, I was pretty upset about the pick originally. After doing some research, I felt a little better about it. I almost liked the guy better than McGlinchey. There was only 2 tackles to take, and he was one of them. The drop off from there is extremely. It's like you jumping off the side of a cliff. John Gruden's MO is let's protect our most important asset. That's Derek Carr. You can take Derek Carr and Khalil Mack all day. 4 years ago. But if you just get Khalil Mack and somebody else in the 2nd round, the Raiders are irrelevant. You need a fucking quarterback, and let's protect our most important asset. I get where Gruden's coming from. And later in the draft, as you look at the end of the 1st round, beginning mid of the 2nd round, there's a premium on offensive linemen. You can't find them in free agency anymore. It's one of the weakest positions in the league, period. That's why the Raiders have invested so much in their offensive line already. And, I like the concept. I get the idea. I think it makes sense. We don't get the number 1 ranked tackle. Who knows? Colton Miller might have been number 1 on their board. They might have been taking Colton Miller regardless. He was the most athletic tackle available. Yeah, based on look at the combine.
No, they wanted their guy. Trust me. That's why they traded back. That was their guy.
I don't know if the media says McGlinchey. I heard,
McGlinchey was pretty census to be the top tackle off the board. That wasn't like a lot of debate.
Yeah,
so I don't think they were hoping Colton Miller was going to fall.
And nobody said Baker Mayfield would go number 1 overall until a couple of days before the draft when leagues started happening. It was all Josh Allen or Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of pundits. They don't know shit. They know about as much as we do. You know what I'm saying? So, who knows if McGlinchey, he wasn't ranked super high on the overall draft board anyways. 10 was supposed to be too high for him.
I totally get the need for tackles. I mean, I think
you can't find them.
Yeah, well, this was a really heavy class for tackles. That was the one thing that I was thinking. I was like, okay,
No.
You could possibly wait. And, I mean, you're not going to get top-tier status, but that wasn't a big need for the Raiders. That wasn't like, number 1, we needed another tackle. You said you had all those holes on defense. You had tons of holes on defense.
Okay, well, if Carr's not standing, injuries each of the last 2 years to his broken bone in his back, broken finger on his hand the year before. The guy is facing too much pressure. Yeah, and of course, when his fucking leg collapsed inward and ruined our playoff run against the Colts, like, keep the guy upright. Donald Penn is 35. We don't have a quality right tackle on the roster. So he comes in, plays right tackle for 1 year. Donald Penn gets his farewell season, or gets, the guy, he's coming off a Liz Frank injury, which is like never easy to recover from. It's in your foot. You're supposed to be nimble on your feet as a left tackle. You saw how much money Nate Solder got paid in free agency, that ridiculous sum by the New York Giants.
Yeah, I mean, the
You need a
Chargers made a
tackle.
big signing with Okung too, but I don't know, man. I felt like that wasn't gonna help them win now. That wasn't like, okay, this is gonna get the Raiders over the edge.
You plug him in at right tackle. 1 year, he moves to left tackle, franchise left tackle. You know what I'm saying? He's got the frame for it. He's got the reach. He tested so far. He broke the record for what is it, broad jump, when you jump forward.
When does you need your offensive lineman to do a broad jump?
It's nice
in
for
the game?
for your left tackle, your pass protector, to be athletic. Yeah, it's part of the position.
But that's not something that's going to help you keep your quarterback up.
He broke the record for broad jump for all offensive linemen in the
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, okay,
he tested
that's
so much
terrible.
higher
It's bad news.
as a physical specimen. Now his tape at UCLA apparently last year was up and down. Tom Cable, offensive line coach, his job now is to mold this guy. Gruden said, here's a semi-raw product. Make it happen. And I feel like, a lot of people like settled in on the pick. If you look at the analysis, some of the guys who actually scout, the Mayox, the Daniel Jeremiahs, the Charles Davises of the world, they gave it a better grade than, these numbskulls who like never played, never scouted, never been employed by a team. You're just talking media shit, you know what I'm saying? So, I'll give the grade of the pick I'll give it a B-, and for this reason. You draft a physically talented, possibly franchise left tackle, which is one of the most expensive positions to fill on your roster. It's top 3: quarterback, left tackle, pass rusher. They're the most important 3, and they're the most expensive 3. So if you get this guy going year 2, 3, 4, you got a bargain at left tackle, what we need. And then what we got also additionally was a 3rd-round pick from the Cardinals, and we flipped it before the first round was done for Martavis Bryant, wide receiver, Pittsburgh Steelers. You know how much I like this guy. Love Martavis Bryant. Love me some Martavis. Fucking touchdown machine. There's the off-the-field stuff, suspended all of 2016, marijuana suspension, which I don't know why the NFL takes this shit. If anything, you should require marijuana for pain for these guys, at least CBDs. It's ridiculous, but...
The guy's got off-the-field problems, and you're going to Vegas. That's like my problem. When you're going to go to Vegas, and that's
2
going to be
years.
your home.
2 years. 2 years.
It's happening, though. It's happening. I mean, these players in this draft are going to be playing there. That's going to be the face of your team going to Vegas. And
what about right now? Win now. Jordy Nelson, Amari Cooper, Derek Carr. Look who he's surrounded by. Khalil Mack, the leader on defense.
Most of those guys were there with Reggie McKenzie's, his scouting, his drafting, his signing with free agents. Besides with Jordy Nelson, that was John Gruden's guy. But John Gruden seems to not care about character and not care about injuries. That was kind of what this draft was all about. Like, he took a bunch of lottery tickets, which obviously they're lottery tickets. They could pan out and be huge. A lot of these guys could be monsters. But also there's a lot of these guys like Colton Miller, who's kind of a raw talent. Could be a dud. You could get nothing out of this guy.
Could be a stud. He should be a serviceable tackle, at least in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
top 2 tackles in the draft, traditionally, like, that's more than a 50-50 shot, man. You know what I mean?
you
know how the Cowboys built
they'll
that
be
great?
good, but I'm not saying they're going to be
I remember
great.
everybody
you
laughing.
still have to, like, make that work.
I remember everybody laughing at the Cowboys drafting Zach Martin at the end of the draft a few years back, trading up to get him. I don't know if they traded up at Atlanta.
They passed on Johnny Manziel for this guy, and Jerry Jones really wanted Johnny Manziel, but this guy obviously was talked out of it, and they said, we are going to establish this offensive line. And obviously that paid out clearly for a couple of years.
You got to invest in the offensive line early because if you try to do it in free agency,
But you got him a little soon. I think you could have waited on this guy. I don't know. He
Waited
feels a
till
little high, and he's a little raw.
So we flip pick 10, we get Colton Miller, possible franchise left tackle, and we get Martavis Bryant. Would you not spend a third-round pick from the Chargers on a proven talent like Martavis Bryant? Would you personally do that?
For 1 year?
Not well in a contract year, in a prove himself year, and well, he's got to prove it this year. It's his last year of his contract. This guy, do you think you want to get paid? At the very least, these guys want to get paid.
They want to get paid, but they got to do it on the field, and obviously he's got to mold in with what everybody's doing here.
You think Derek Carr to Martavis Bryant ain't going to be a big connection? I know you, as a Charger fan, you're so happy.
They spread the ball around a lot, I think, so that's the only thing. He's going to be the third. He's going to be the third receiver on the team.
No, he'll be. He might be the leading receiver on the team.
No.
We'll see how Cooper bounces back. I'm thinking Cooper will be number 100+ catch season.
I mean, Martavis Bryant is not like a 10-catch guy. That's not his MO.
What it allows,
I don't see him being the number one guy on the Raiders. And if he is the number one guy, I don't think it's a good thing for the Raiders.
What it allows us to do is move Jordy Nelson inside to the slot, much like Larry Fitzgerald made the transition later in his career into the slot, where there's a little more blocking on run plays, but you get these routes on the inside where just the route running ability alone is going to make you win these one-on-one matchups. And it really, I look at this pick as Colton Miller, raw potential, but Martavis Bryant stealing Martavis Bryant out of there.
I think the Steelers got the better end of that deal. I think this is a really deep draft full of defensive players that could play. And the Steelers obviously have been wanting to get rid of Bryant anyways. That was a great get for them, I think.
I don't know if you're gonna. Yeah.
You don't know what you're gonna get out of 1 year.
I'll tell you this much: if Juju wasn't on the roster last year, they're not making this trade. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
They would be working with Martavis Bryant.
Bryant wasn't a relevant factor for them for a majority of the season.
You didn't watch the second half of the season then, because he was
the majority of the season. The majority of the season, he was not a big deal. He was not the reason their offense was moving.
All right, we'll dwell on this one too long. I like the move.
I'll go on. All right, so the round one, Chargers waited, chilled, sat there at their spot. Number 17.
I'm so happy I'm a Chargers fan. Oh, we're so happy. Whoa!
Nobody thought this guy was going to fall that far. This guy's a top 10 talent just because of all the quarterbacks and the run on these offensive tackles that this guy is all excited about. We got top 10 player at a position of need that is just a game changer. He can tackle really well. That's the number one thing I'm thinking of. Chargers led the league in missed tackles last year, which is why the run game was so bad. And you're going to see that as a common theme through the draft with the guys that can tackle. They're not dicking around anymore. They're ready to just not have those missed tackles and arm tackles. He's a physical guy. He comes up, plays in the run game. I really like him because he's going to be our guy against Travis Kelce. Chargers have lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 6 straight times. And they've pretty much been the division champs running the show. So I think this is just one of those chess pieces that you can put in. You can put in with the matchup guys that you have. If you need to put him on a wide receiver, play center field. If you want to help in the run game, he can help on, running backs out of the backfield. This guy can do everything. He can be off the edge if he wants. And the fact that he just fell to him at 17, it's the perfect blend of need, meeting value, meeting skill set with the top player on the board. And it was really exciting to watch that guy fall. I know you're bummed. He's so bummed because he's a Raiders fan. He's just man, I got to deal with that now. I wonder how many times this guy's going to pick off Derek Carr.
Probably never.
Oof. That's
I
a bold
guess
statement.
never. He might sack him a couple times, but I don't know. We invested in our O-line, unlike the Chargers, who don't give a fuck about the offensive line. I'll tell you this.
What are you talking about? We signed Mike Pouncey this year.
That was a good signing.
I don't know. Was there a better offensive lineman signing in the offseason?
They say Cam Chancellor about this guy.
Yeah, that's been the reference, which is a perfect fit, too, for our defense because we have Gus Bradley, the old Seahawks defensive coordinator, who had Cam Chancellor. So this guy he's got the right coach, the right system.
Ugh. I'm not gonna lie. I'm fucking pissed that he fell to this particular squad.
Yeah.
I'm fucking pissed off. pisses me off. I still would rather like have the Cole Miller pick after reviewing it than the Derwin James, but I wish he would have landed anywhere else besides for
because he knows he's dangerous. That's why.
The Chargers defense is pretty good. You know, they lock up the middle defensive tackle, middle linebacker, but on the third end now, they have the middle solidified. You know, with a guy like this, man, very talented. You know, when we watch tape, we watch highlight reels, so we get the highlights. And his highlights are spectacular, man. The
He's
guy's
so
a
physical,
hard hitter.
He's not shy of hitting
You got the measurables on him. Like
this guy isn't like Antonio Campardi, where he's.
Wait, what was that? Antonio Campardi?
Yeah, Antonio Campardi, brought to you by Coors Light.
I'll put it in my glove Campardi. Sorry, officer. Let me.
Is this a no pants party?
Oh. Are you bringing pants for the party?
What? Anyways, yeah, come on. Like, I don't know what there's not to like about Derwin James. I will say this, okay. I think he's gonna have some mistakes early on.
6'3", 211.
Yeah, how fast does he run? Tell me how fast.
Oh shit, man. Well, I would have to pull it up from here. But
anyways, yeah, this guy, he's gonna be really aggressive when he comes in the league. This guy loves to play football, so I think he might blow a couple of assignments just overcommitting or biting on a play action. But I think after 8 games, this guy is really going to figure it out. His athletic skill set is going to take over. He's going to be a turnover machine. He's not going to miss tackles, like the biggest problem we have on the Chargers defense. And he's going to be fun to watch. He's going to be, I don't want to say Ed Reed-ish, but I kind of want to say Troy Polamalu-ish. That's what I want to say.
Those guys are smaller, more nimble. They're more interceptors. That's not what this guy is, man.
This guy's going to be all over the field.
Cam Chancellor's spot on, man. He's a difference maker. He's going to hit him hard.
Yeah.
He's not going to have a ton of picks, but I think he'll have a lot of forced fumbles. You know what I mean?
I think he's probably going to have a couple of personal foul penalties, knocking people's heads off. And so you're going
to put him in the box. He's going to be a factor in the run game. He's got the 4.47 40 to run around on the backside. 21 bench press. That's pretty good at the combine, man. There's offensive linemen who score lower than that.
Anyways,
like overall, like 33-inch arms. That's a good measurement. His frame is excellent.
Played against top talent. Showed he can play.
Played against top talent. Coming out of Florida State. He
loves football too. He's said to be a leader in the locker room, and he's got good energy. So, Derwin James, A+ Chargers. You didn't have to trade up. You sat where you were, and you said need. Fit talent, that fit top player on the board perfect with your scheme. It was great. But then we'll go to the next pick.
And on this pick.
This is round 2 with number 48.
Round 2, 48, and this is my first official Coors Light urination break time. Be right back. Whenever you need the urination break, make sure you have a cold Coors Light to come back to.
Yeah, all right. So I don't even know if I know how to say this guy's name right.
Good luck.
Yeah. So the linebacker out of USC. This guy, he's probably going to be projected to be the outside linebacker in the 4-3 defense for the Chargers. Uwena Nwosu. All right, guys, you can totally just blow me up. Let me know how much I butchered that guy's name. As much as it is difficult to say his name, I love this guy as a linebacker. I think this guy's going to be a steal. At USC, they asked him to do a lot of edge rushing. And at the college level, he was effective. I don't think that's what he's going to be in the NFL. I don't think he quite has the size or the speed to really dominate the edge. But what's great, he's not going to have to do that. That's not going to be his job as the Chargers outside linebacker. He's going to be able to be roaming free. He's going to be playing defense on the outside. And I also like him because this guy gets in the way of passes. This guy reads quarterbacks' eyes. You can see how many pass defense he had last season. Okay, I don't have the real number for you, but I'll let you know. Go watch his tape. If he's not getting to the quarterback, he's got his hands up in passing lanes. He's got tons of tip balls. His tip ball numbers are kind of like a defensive back. He probably has way more, actually. And that's going to create a lot of turnovers. Like, this guy is going to put the ball in the air, and you're going to leave the Chargers secondary, like guys like Derwin James, ready to chase it, take it, and bring it back to the house. It said maybe the only downside, I would say, is because USC had him rushing the edge so much, he might not have as much experience in coverage. But when he's been in coverage in college, he grades out well. So it's not that he can't do it and hasn't done it. It's just that he hasn't done that much of it. So that's where the learning curve for this guy is going to be, is recognizing pass schemes, knowing those crossing routes, and being able to be good in zone coverage. And if he figures that out, this guy's going to be the steal of the draft. You heard it here first. Whatever his name is, Emina Nuoso.
Nuwasu is like how would I assume it was. I've heard it pronounced before.
Is that a Nuwasu? So the O is supposed to be
USC, man. We're in San Diego. Have you heard of this guy? I have.
Okay, well, I didn't know USC was in San Diego.
Well, it's in
Right.
Southern California. Southern California, ya bitch. It's
Right.
the motherfucking Effin football podcast. Bam, bam, bam.
If you want to watch an awesome highlight of this guy, watch him in the Pac-12 championship. Stanford was on the goal line, ready to take a touchdown in to take the lead late in the fourth quarter, and this guy blows by their tackle, shoots down the line of scrimmage, and tackles the running back by the ankles at the line of scrimmage, preventing the touchdown. USC goes on to win the Pac-12 championship because this guy's game-changing play. And I think that's what he's going to bring to the NFL too. Plays just like that. You're my boy, Nuoso. What do you got for the next pick?
Nuwasu.
Nuoso.
What, I don't get to talk about this guy?
You don't know? What do you know about this guy?
All I know is I listen to Sports Talk 1360 AM San Diego. The Loose Cannons. I'll let your boy. They did the whole draft coverage. They were all upset about the pick. They're all San Diego or Los Angeles Charger homers. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. They weren't happy about it. I'll say, hey, give the kid a shot. As we get deep in the draft, he's not going to know about the players we took. I'm not going to know about the players they took. Like, it's tough to do research deep in the draft unless it's your job. Or you follow college football. I don't got Saturdays off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we read up as much as we can. We watch some highlights.
We definitely did our research on reviewing, on our side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, the next pick in the draft by either of our squads, the Raiders took a fucking big jump at a dude. You know what I'm saying? They jumped him in the alleyway in a parking lot.
You wouldn't want this guy jumping you in the back alley of the parking lot.
The Raiders would have picked before the Chargers in the second round, but they actually traded down when their pick came up at number 41 overall in the second round. They traded to the Titans. They traded down to pick 57 in the second round and acquired a third round pick, number 89 overall. Pretty good trade, if you ask me. They moved down 15 slots, but picked up a third rounder.
13th round?
Yeah, man, going old school. They had to kick the old school draft.
Is that the supplemental draft?
They better be taking league mandated supplements. Is all I'm saying. Martavis Bryant. That's scary.
Over under 7 touchdowns. What would be your over under on that?
Oh, my over would be 10.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
So with the Raiders' second round pick, after acquiring a third round pick and moving down with the Titans at number 57, they took P.J. Hall, defensive tackle out of Sam Houston State. Now, this is a Division II player.
It's not Division II, is it?
Yeah.
Let me see. Sam Houston. I thought they played Division I. I didn't think they were that good in Division
It's
I.
FCS. Maybe it's not Division II, but it's instead of FBS, it's FCS.
Is that what it is?
What is the difference about FBS and FCS?
I don't know. It's all BS if you ask me.
So he plays at a smaller school, a smaller competition, but when it came to his competition, he completely dominated. He had he said for the whole league, FCS. What was up? He said he broke the.
He broke some records. He was a fat guy. It took 3 guys to block him. But
No, man, great.
he didn't play against top talent,
At
so
it-
it's hard to judge.
At his pro day, he graded out better than any defensive tackle in the draft since like the fucking late '90s. Like his physicals are off the hook. He had like 80 plus tackles for loss in his college career, 42 sacks. He blocked 14 kicks. What he did on a lower level against lower competition, was Madden rookie level shit. The guy's breaking double and triple teams, lower level guys, but the guy squatted I've watched a video of him squat 700 pounds. He ran a 4.740
It's pretty good.
as a defensive tackle. All right, good fucking luck. He's slightly small. He measures out at just over 6 foot, 6 foot and a quarter, and he's like 310 pounds or something like that. But what he can do as an athlete, he is the most athletic defensive tackle to enter the league in a fortnight, and for fucking ever. So smaller competition, but like, you got to work with what you got to work with. This guy worked with smaller competition and dominated on such an elite level that he smashed every record for like it's Division Two, whatever fucking SDS is. It's one division down from Division One, man. So the competition, yeah, it's a gap, but 80 plus like tackles for loss in a career, over a couple seasons, like dominant.
Another lottery ticket, though. I'm gonna say that. That's the thing.
Nah, man, the guy has.
You're gonna say
He had a great
Effin podcast guarantee right now? That's what you're gonna say on PJ?
No, man. If you go research him, man, scouts had him within the first 3 rounds. You know what I mean?
I hope so, because he went in the second round. That
he
makes
went
sense.
in the late second round after we acquired a 3rd round pick in a trade for him.
Okay, I mean,
so like, you know what I'm saying? So we traded down. We got a guy who's rated 2nd, 3rd rounder on most scouts boards. And the only reason he's not a 1st rounder is because he didn't play high level competition. So you didn't get to see that on display. But with the physicals and the stats he put up against the competition he had, like dominant record breaking stats, we needed an interior lineman and we got one. And I'm extremely happy with the pick. After researching it, when I heard his name, I was like, who the fuck? Sam Houston State? What the fuck? I could probably go walk on there right now.
I'm pretty sure this guy didn't even go to the combine, did
he? He didn't get an invite. But at his pro day, he destroyed all defensive linemen's combine.
Yeah, he didn't get an invite to the combine. Just remember that, guys. There's people that
Check it out,
decided he shouldn't have gone. All right.
Do your research. This guy had a higher.
I'm not saying he's that bad.
He had a higher grade. I guarantee on almost all draft boards, he had a higher grade than this linebacker Nwasu that the Chargers took. Now, if you want to talk about reaches, that was a reach.
It might have been a reach,
is a solid
but I think
tackle.
this guy is going to play well in the scheme. Honestly, all of our guys are scheme dudes that we pretty much picked up.
Yeah, you guys are scheming, man. Willie Beeman.
Fucking schemers over here.
Hey.
All right, urination break brought to you by Coors Light. When the mountains are blue, so are you.
Oh, man, your pick is next, though. No, it's my pick.
Yeah, let you go.
So the Raiders picked up, man, how did this trade work? They picked up a 3rd round pick. They actually traded up in the 3rd round. Yeah, so after they selected PJ Hall, they traded up with the Ravens. They traded their 3rd round pick, number 75 overall, plus a 5th round pick and a 7th round pick to jump up 10 spots to 65. And they took offensive tackle Brandon Parker. And this is another, they doubled up on small school guys. This guy comes out of a college, North Carolina A&T. And wow, like this was the one pick that I was really questioning out of the whole draft. I get the need for offensive linemen. Based on the draft board, they were like guys who were rated higher as offensive tackles. This guy's extremely athletic. Apparently, is the upside. Played very well against lower level competition. But apparently, Gruden's MO for the roster was let's upgrade the offensive line. Let's get some more bodies out there. Even if Colton Miller only plays right tackle, we went offensive tackle in the first round and the third round, traded up in the third round. 65 is actually the first pick in the third round, so we traded up to pick 1 in the third round. It's almost a second rounder. To take a guy, this is when draft pundits look at it, it's the most questionable pick. But Gruden wanted to double down on that tackle position, man. Donald Penn, 35. We really don't have a right tackle right now. So you plug Colton Miller for 1 year, right tackle. Brandon Parker, as a swing tackle basically at that point. And maybe he develops into the right tackle when Colton Miller moves to left tackle. I can see the idea and the concept. Wouldn't be surprised if we took some tackles early in next year's draft. There's obviously a premium on offensive linemen in today's NFL. If you want one, you got to go get them. You know what I mean? You got to get them in the draft because you ain't getting them on the free agency market without fucking blowing your salary cap. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say I like the move. I didn't grade my last pick, the Raiders' second round pick, PJ Hall. I gave Colton Miller a B minus. I'd give PJ Hall a B, just because he might have slipped a little further. I might B plus range. I really like the pick at defensive tackle after watching tape and reading up. The Brandon Parker pick, I got to give it a C minus because I don't know what the scouts are seeing, but they're seeing something. He's athletic. There's potential. They're really banking on Tom Cable taking these 2 offensive tackles and molding these guys. But as a manager myself, I know a little bit about molding employees, and if you do it the right way, man, you can get some champs. You can make some money. You know what I'm saying? So. I'm not a huge fan of the pick, and but offensive linemen, man, they flew off the board in this year's draft. A lot of guys who had much lower grades by the experts and the pundits and the scouts went way higher. Because teams realize you got to get your guy, develop him, try to develop him, because you're not going to find that position on the free agent market without blowing your load.
Well, that guy can wait too. You have time to develop this guy. He doesn't have to jump in and start right away.
Colton Miller, this guy sits in him.
Yeah, I mean, I never have a problem in the draft is getting offensive lineman depth, because if your offensive lineman goes down, you're in trouble. I watch it happen to the Chargers so many times where it's like they have this great squad, the whole front gets just wiped out and the team's done for the year. They really don't have a chance, especially in the AFC West when you're playing against Bosa, Von Miller. Now you got Chubb in the mix. You're going to go against, the Justin Houstons, Tom Ali's the world. Melvin Ingram's a top pass rusher too. It's relentless in the AFC West. You do need tackles. You need guys that can block these pass rushers. So it's not just a team need, it's a division need, if you ask me. But that's my pick now. I'll go with round 3 pick number 84. It was Justin Jones, defensive tackle. I'm giving this one a C+. Okay, this guy, he's solid, he's athletic, he can move. My problem, he wasn't that great against the run. That was the one downside, and if there was one thing the Chargers needed was somebody that was really good against the run. Not saying that we didn't need depth there with Corey Leggett going out with 4 games and Brandon Mebane. He has injury history, not to mention he's grandpa now.
Turning 33.
Turning 33, yeah. But I will say this, he's not going to start right away. I think actually the defensive tackles behind Leggett and behind Mebane actually are better. There's Damian Square, who's solid. He's actually, I think, better than Mebane when he's at the line. And then, we got this other guy, Darian Filion. He actually had more sacks in 4 games started than Leggett did in, 12 games started. So I really think that those guys made the offensive line or defensive line worse than it really was. Once those backups came in, it started playing better. It was just missed tackles. There's missed tackles that made the Chargers look so bad with the running game. So C+, he's going to have to be able to play the run, but it was a position of need. And like I said, he's not going to have to come in and start right away. They're going to have some depth in front of him, and then he's going to have to play against Mike Bouncy in practice, and that's going to make him nasty. So, yeah,
I really like the Mike Pouncey edition.
that's great. It just brings a tenacity to the team. Or it says not just your offensive lineman; it's like your defensive lineman got to play against that guy in practice, and he's going to make the most out of everybody that he's surrounded by. So
you can't have enough veterans on the roster,
it's a mentality that you got to have.
Sponsored by Coors Light, you got to be a veteran, okay, to understand the value and benefit of doing your research and being cold as the Rocky Mountains, and I'm cold as ice when it comes to the podcast. And I don't know anything about Justin Jones, man. You get into the third round on a team that's not your team, and fuck, man, if I could get a job as a sports fucking writer, which I'm sure I could if I went that direction. Studied it in fucking college, homeboy. But, it is what it is. That's why I was like, hey, Welty, let's, kind of just cover our own teams for this podcast and lean on this guy's research. And if I ever seen an excellent researcher, it's Tyler motherfucking Welty. All right, I'll let your boy.
Anyways, we'll go to your next pick because go ahead. I'll let you introduce the number. What's the 87th pick in the 2018 NFL draft?
I know this guy already doesn't like the pick for some reason. I like this pick a lot, man. It really made me feel better on day 2. And it involves yet another Raiders trade. So we traded down in round 1. And then they also picked up Martavis Bryant via that trade. And then they traded down in round 2, picked up P.J. Hall. Then they traded up at the beginning of round 3 to get Brown and Parker. Then they traded up yet again at the end of round 3. Moved up 2 slots. They sent a 7th rounder to the Rams to move from 89 to 87 to pick their guy, apparently. When I watched the draft phone call on YouTube, when Reggie McKenzie was talking to Arden Key, outside linebacker, defensive end, pass rusher out of LSU. Man, the guy is tenacious on the field. 2017 wasn't great for him. 2016 was amazing. When you look at his highlight reel, when you see just the highlights, the guy's a fucking beast off the edge. It's unanimous scouts. First round talent, first round draft pick if it's not for the off the field issues. And off the field issues are off the field issues for sure. He got suspended at times in college. He's checked himself into a rehab recovery for marijuana.
Who needs rehab for marijuana? You go into rehab, you're like, oh, what's your drug of choice?
Martavis Bryant?
Marijuana?
Yeah, well, you think it's funny. Then you talk shit about the Martavis Bryant pick. But the only thing that separates him from, or Josh Gordon from all the elite type wide receivers right now.
Martavis Bryant had beef with his coach, and that's a deeper issue.
No, man. He had beef with getting pushed down the lineup, and the Steelers took a bigger investment in Juju, a rookie, than a guy who missed a year off a marijuana suspension. And he didn't take.
He wouldn't have been on the bench so much if his coach.
He wasn't on the bench either, man.
He spent some time.
He was fucking playing slot wide receiver. He was part of the 3 wide receiver sets. He had an excellent, he had a good second half of the season. The guy is still a playmaker, so that's, they make a big emphasis. Now, Arden Key, it's not just marijuana. Martavis Bryant got a head on him. He can succeed. Arden Key apparently is like a head case, it's not just marijuana.
Let's put this guy in Las Vegas.
He went
and with millions of dollars.
2 years from now.
See what happens.
We'll see.
See what happens.
It's not that many millions in the 3rd round, plus the taxes take a lot. We're still in California. They're not in Vegas yet. You know what I mean? If they're smart, they would start buying homes in Vegas and just fucking traveling to Oakland. But, you know what I mean? I like the upside, extremely high upside. Like you said, Gruden's taking lottery tickets. I'll take it, man. I'll use just as a situational pass rusher. You know what I mean? If at the very least we get some Aldon Smith production for a couple years before he fades into this fucking sunset. Aldon Smith had almost a sack a game for his first 2 years of his career before he just self-destructed. And you're putting this guy in with Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin. Like, I already seen those guys tweeting at this guy on Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? They're not gonna let this kid come in and like be some fucking wild rambunctious like fucking dickhead ass fuck. Like, it's not gonna happen, man. I'll tell you this
Anyways,
much.
I heard this guy's really got like one good move. He's got a hook move. That's what I read. I don't know a lot. I didn't watch like any tape, but like from what I read on this guy, it's like
First round grade.
there was a time when he had a first round grade.
He had a top 5 grade at
Tim
the time.
Tebow went in the first round as well.
That's great. You guys pick a lot of crappy first round draft picks, so
We've
You're the
had
one
hit
to
or
talk.
miss. We've had hit or miss. But yeah. Anyways, I don't hate Arden Key. Actually, I don't. I mean, you got great value for him. I'll say that.
it's great value.
It's great value.
For a lottery, I don't even consider it a lottery ticket. It is a lottery ticket. But there's 2 ways it can go. This guy just busts out. Or, everybody said the same shit about Tyrann Mathieu, who went in the 3rd round. You know what I mean?
Didn't he have weight issues? I think he had some weight issues.
Same school. Yeah, he did. He ballooned after he put himself into rehab for marijuana. He
He stopped getting the munchies and got fatter.
he went everywhere from 230 to 285 or something like that. So that's why his 2017 wasn't as good. He ballooned up. He got too big. I guess that's like, everybody deals with not having marijuana differently, and I guess it made him more hungry, find something to do. I don't know. It all depends on where his head's at. Can he be mentored? Is the coaching staff going to provide the proper structure? If it all goes well, this guy, you stole a first rounder in the 3rd round. If not, you wasted a 3rd round pick. But McKenzie's wasted many 2nd and 3rd round picks over the last several years. So I'll take a fucking lottery ticket on this guy. I'll tell you that much. All right, we're gonna move on to the next pick. The Raiders picked at 110 in the 4th round, Nick Nelson, and this guy's a cornerback. He's got drafted out of
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin,
Right?
yeah.
He was originally at Hawaii, and then he transferred,
Hawaii and
then he went to Wisconsin, which was a good move for him because then he actually got to play against some top tier talent as opposed to Mountain West wide receivers.
It was a good draft move for him, yeah, and that's why he shot up the draft board. I saw reviews of this guy being, one of the top corners possibly, 2nd, 3rd rounder. I like the value at the 4th round. The only concerning factor is 3 years in college between Hawaii and Wisconsin, never recorded an interception.
One interception.
Not a single one, which is almost hard to do. But he led the nation in Division I in pass breakups last year, 22, I think it was. I don't have the number exactly right here. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's what a corner's job is to do, The great ones get a bunch of interceptions. You just stop the guy from catching the ball. Nnamdi Asomugha didn't have a lot of interceptions. You know why?
Because people didn't throw at Nnamdi Asomugha.
They wouldn't throw at him.
But honestly, like that was a big problem the Raiders have had for a while is getting interceptions on defense, and I think you're not helping that problem by picking a guy like this. They say he's going to be a solid cornerback.
You got Darian Conley last year. That's like another rookie for us, man.
Yeah, well, we got Mike Williams this year, and that's like another one. On top of Forrest Lamp as well. I know how this goes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I actually like this guy. I think when he came in and he went to Wisconsin, he said he was able to shut down some good wide receivers.
He had to take a whole year off.
That was a good move. He probably would go in the 6th or 7th round at Hawaii, maybe undrafted. So you make that move and
prove it.
I heard he's got a little bit of tight hips, but you got to think of value. I mean, all these guys that we're talking about now, when you get to the 4th round, it's like, okay, they got something wrong with them.
Yeah.
It's not
everybody.
Yeah. They need to be developed. They have character issues. This or that. Yeah, they don't really have a true position. There's a lot of reasons people fall this far. Not to say you can't find good players. You just need to get the right player in the right system. And that's how that's going to work.
So you went like early 4th round. I remember Richard Sherman going late 3rd round or mid 3rd round. You can find guys. He's definitely no Richard Sherman. He doesn't have that sort of size. He factors as like a slot or a number 2 cornerback on the high end. But there's something wrong with that, man. We can use a guy in the slot. He's a little bit grabby. He got called for some pass interferences, and he's got an issue with that. But Gruden will fucking knock that shit out of his helmet, hopefully. And if you look at the production in terms of pass breakups, it's excellent. I feel like just one interception on his career would have moved him up one round. So I feel like that might be, even if he has bad hands, I just want the pass to not be completed. If it's intercepted, great. Let's just end the drive. Third and long, just blanket the receiver. Nnamdi Asomugha didn't have to get a lot of interceptions. He got drafted as a safety out of Cal. Didn't get a lot of picks. Didn't have to. They weren't throwing at him. So it's all about blanketing the coverage, and from there, that's where you earn respect. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on to the next one, and that's
Yeah.
Welty here with.
So we got the LA Chargers pick in the round 4 with the 119th pick. They got Kaiser White. He was a safety at West Virginia. Actually, he's going to be projected as inside linebacker with the Chargers. This guy reminds me of a lot of Davis Brown. He was actually drafted 2 years ago from the Chargers. Had a great rookie season. Came in, was making a bunch of plays, a bunch of tackles. Second year, he just fell off a cliff. He just didn't show up last year. It was kind of crazy. He really hurt the linebacking crew in that sense.
It seems
Um,
like the Chargers are always looking for It's like the Raiders are always. We could use some linebackers.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's Denzel Perriman's hurt a
so it's
lot.
hard to find
That was a big
linebackers.
deal with the running game too. It was our top linebacker. He's been most of his career has not played in over half his games. Um, but what I like about Kaiser White, the guy brings toughness and he hits. He hits like a hammer. He's like another one of those tweener guys. He's gonna be safety, inside linebacker. He's not nearly as versatile as Derwin James, but he's what I like to think of as a football player. He knows the game. He understands how to read defenses.
Often that's the most important
Yeah,
part.
read offenses. Yeah, and just being able to be on the field. I think at the very least, this guy is going to be very good on special teams, and I think that's something that goes really underrated with people in the draft. When you start looking at guys, 4, 5, 6, 7, can they contribute on special teams?
Oh,
Um,
6'2", 218. Yeah, this guy is like more of a safety. In
yeah,
today's NFL though, like the weak side linebacker,
yeah. Well, they have to
you
cover all
can
these athletic tight ends, and so
you
they need
can
athletic linebackers to
nickel
handle.
package. He's a
Yeah,
nickel package player.
yeah. He's
Yeah,
going to be
passing
definitely.
downs.
He's gonna have to get a little bigger for sure. But like I say, he's a football player. Like he's a guy that loves to play. You can just tell. He's all over the field. He's making plays in the running game, the passing game. Like I say, he's not afraid to tackle, and that was the biggest problem with the Chargers last year is not being able to tackle.
This
And
guy can't stress this enough.
I'm seriously,
Fucking tackle someone,
you know how
motherfucker.
frustrating it is to see your guy in position and just like arm wrap him and watch him run away. I mean, I can't imagine as a coach. It's like you did everything. You told them everything they needed to do.
You got him in position to make the play.
And there they go, just out of your fingertips, literally.
And then Nick Nelson drops the football.
Or whatever the scenario
Or
might be.
Kaiser White misses the tackle. Like,
But I'm gonna give this guy a B plus though. That was a great pick. Like I said, at the very least, the special teams got better, which is a very underrated part of the
B
NFL.
plus, high for this time of the draft. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I gave my Justin Jones a C just because I didn't think he could defend the run as well as what we needed. But it was position need, and he was probably pretty close to the best defensive tackle on the board. And it was pretty funny. Before the draft, there was a statement that said, to Gus Bradley, like, we'll get you a defense in the draft. And I was wondering if that was just kind of pre-draft strategy to try to throw other people off. They came out and said, like, this is a defensive-heavy draft. And they weren't lying. That's what they did. First 4 picks. Like, we're getting defensive guys that are going to
Man, they
help
went
us
exactly
right
the
now.
opposite of what I thought the Raiders would do. It's like get some defensive players.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers had a really good defense, but like you look, it's right up the middle exactly where they need it because that's where we were, struggling the most. Safety, linebacker, defensive tackle, another linebacker.
That's
And
true, man. You
that's
guys added to a really talented defense. I don't know much about these players, but I kind of like the way you drafted. I didn't grade my last 2 picks. Nick Nelson, cornerback, I'll give him a B. I'll give him a B plus because I feel like he would have been taken much earlier if he had 1 or 2 career picks to go with everything else. I know I looked at his combine tangibles, and as an athlete, he's there. The tape is there apparently. Arden Key, I got to give that I gotta give it fuck. This is tough. I gotta give it a B minus because it could be an A plus or it could be an F. You know what I mean?
And I swear it's a
You know what I
50-50
mean?
there too. Like you don't know.
So like that's like I'll give it a C plus slash B minus because I think that's exactly in the middle. Well, C technically is in the middle, but
That's funny.
I like the upside, and I think with mentorship, he leans more towards the upside.
All right, so your next pick, I found one of the most intriguing in the draft.
Yeah, you texted me.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is how I learned I got the pick because
I was the one. I broke the
I
news.
was driving the van. Yeah, you broke the news to me. I was working, and I'm not in there on my phone. I am when I can, but like I'll see a text pop up, and it said Mohurst, and I thought you guys got him. I thought he was a Charger,
No,
and he said a very intriguing pick. So yeah, the Raiders took, I'm gonna have Welty kick it off, but I'm gonna explain the circumstance first because this was yet another trade for the Raiders. So they traded up once again. So they've been trading up and down and up and down. Gruden, back, 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 back. He's rumbling. He's stumbling. They traded their round 5 pick, 159, plus their round 6 pick to move up quite a bit of spots, 19 spots with the Colts to round 5, 140. They took the guy who was sliding down the draft board. I saw him in mock drafts in the top 10. Tell me about this guy, Welty.
All right, so because I'm a Chargers fan, I'm just going to start with the negative. One, he's a little bit undersized. Two, he's kind of got short arms. And three, he potentially is going to die on your football field. Okay, maybe that was a little dark and I got a little extreme. But there he had a red flag at the combine, which is it's kind of a big red flag, and he has this heart condition where it took him off a lot of teams' draft boards altogether. But originally, this guy was projected to go in the first round. They thought probably top 25 pick, somebody was going to go for him. He played at Michigan. He said he was relentless pass rusher. At the very least, that's what he's going to bring to for your team. I kind of wish the Chargers would have got him. Big time lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Big time. Like this guy could be a complete waste of a pick and I guess a waste of 2 picks because you traded up for him. But upside is he's probably gonna be better than PJ Hall, to be honest. Like I think if he plays and he's sustaining himself on the field, he's gonna be a better defense tackle than that guy.
Well, they play 2 different positions. PJ Hall is more like a nose tackle, and Mohurst is more like a 3 technique pass rusher, which is like what Warren Sapp played. You know what I mean? Nose tackle is more like famous defensive tackle
Vince
Baltimore Ravens.
Wilfork or maybe
Vince
Jamal Williams or
he's not as big as those guys, but that's a positional play. They might both be 3 techniques, but PJ Hall is strong enough to play nose tackle. I love the Mohurst pick. It's crazy because there are teams that obviously took him off their draft board. The Raiders' outlook has been like we're gonna test him every year, monitor the heart thing. So it might be a thing where you only get 3, 4, 5 seasons out of this guy before it's not safe to play anymore. Didn't have any problems in college. Never tested bad in college either. He got passed by some Harvard doctors I had read. So I guess they do it more in depth at the combine. He was not allowed to participate in the combine because it's like a heart murmur or some shit like that. I guess it's an irregular heartbeat. I don't know, man. I don't know how. I'll take it like the whole draft, man. It's I like the risks we're taking. If even 2 or 3 of these guys pan out, how often does a team get 2 or 3 solid picks out of one draft? You know what I mean? So all the opportunity is there. I like Mohurst. Pro Football Focus gave him the highest draft grade of any interior lineman ever coming out of college. So if you like PFF, man, the grades are there. So, we'll see how it works. I saw a quote from him today on the way coming back home, at Raiders minicamp saying, I don't have a worry whatsoever about my heart.
I feel absolutely bad for him though, like just to drop that far in the draft.
Oh,
Like
hungry.
you find out the combine this is going on, and you just watch kind of your NFL career slip between your fingers of nothing you can do to control it.
No, he
And
can. He can make it happen
well,
as an NFL
now
player.
he
can
can.
prove
Now
it,
he's
but he's
in.
watching millions of dollars slip through his fingers.
That too.
You know what I mean?
That too.
That's what he's watching. Millions of dollars.
Yeah, projected round 1, ending up in round 5 at the 140th pick. You lost millions of dollars because it's something you never knew about before you went to this combine, which is kind of a messed up place. You think about it. They just test everything. They measure everything on you. You pretty much just lined up naked, and now they know. They probably know their dick sizes at the combine. They just don't release that information. It's probably something they measure down to the half centimeter. Anyways, poor Mo Hurst.
Wow. He did grade out as one of the top 5 dick sizes from the entire draft. So I like his opportunity and his potential. That for us, for the Raiders, we'll get overall grades for our drafts at the end. But I really like. I'll take a fucking swing for the fences on this. If the bases are loaded, swing for the fences, man. Mo Hurst, first round grade, just like Arden Key. It's a boom or bust, man. It's definition. Either like literally boom or bust. But if
He's supposed to be a really good pass rusher though, and those are golden.
Golden on the interior. Yeah. So slightly undersized. He said he has the same measurables as Aaron Donald, but he doesn't have the strength of Aaron Donald. That's for sure. But he has a great pass rush technique, and the Raiders lacked a 3-4 pass rusher. There's a lot of people saying Raiders take Mo Hurst in the first round. So to get him in the 5th round, I'll fucking take it. I'll give it a thumbs up. I'll give the pick an A right here, right away. Even just taking the chance, I'll give it an A. Regardless of how it turns out.
I'm giving it an A too, just because it's like, who cares? I mean, I'm not gonna say who cares if your 5th round pick pans out or not, but the odds of your 5th round pick panning out are not high. And even if they do, their ceiling is still going to be pretty low. So if this one does pan out, the ceiling is going to be super high. And I mean, it's hit or miss at all times after round 4. Like I think up to round 4, you should get some solid contributors.
Maybe
even round 3.
After the commissioner says the NFL draft is commencing, it's hit or miss, man. From round 1, from the first overall pick on, it's hit or miss.
I think there's some players.
You can do scouting.
Some players, no. I think your entire draft is hit or miss. While there's going to be guys, I think, on our squad that are going to be contributors.
I don't agree. Nick Nelson isn't hit or miss. It's a quality pick at the 4th round. And I don't agree. Colt Miller was a first-round tackle unanimously. They said we reached for him slightly. Okay, well, what's your value on him? We value him at 15. You value him at 20?
After 20. After 20.
As some guy who's never worked in the NFL for a team. You know what I'm saying? So what does that matter what this person says? PJ Hall, everybody had a 2nd or 3rd round draft grade on him. Is that hit or miss? I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Arden Key is hit or miss. Mo Hurst is hit or miss. Other than that, I think they're sound picks, in my opinion.
In his admittedly biased opinion.
In my admittedly, as Jack Fox would say, hey, they don't pay me to say this, okay? I don't work for the Raiders, but in my honestly biased opinion, I think the team made some very sound quality draft picks, and I would go as far as to say, I'm slightly impressed with some of them. Now, so was some of them a reach? Yeah, I would certainly say so. But overall, we're not at the overall grade part yet. So you guys got to sit through a couple more analysi. I think is the plural for saying analysis, and then we'll give you an overall grade at the end of our team's draft. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're going down to the Chargers' 5th round pick of the NFL draft. Chargers didn't make any trades. It was very basic,
straight up,
basic bitch kind of draft. But I actually enjoyed it. I didn't want to worry about trading up to get some stupid fullback like we've done in the past. We did that.
Have you guys really traded up to get a fullback?
He was an H-back, which he's not
What was
even a
his
real.
name?
He's not even a real. Wait, Hester or something. Jacob Hester. And he came
I
out of,
remember that guy.
Florida.
Yeah, I
I don't remember that guy either.
No, I
Anyways.
do remember him.
Do you?
Yeah, I remember Jacob Hester.
Yeah.
You guys are
Traded up for a Jacob Hester.
You guys are a main opponent of ours, and I know your roster.
Yeah. So, anyways, we didn't do that, and it felt great. Anyways, so for the 5th round pick, the 155th pick, 2018
I actually
draft.
like this one.
I like this one too.
Yeah.
All right, so and Scott Quinsonberry, I believe you say his name. I'm still learning these names.
Queensonberry.
Queensonberries.
Have you ever had boysenberry pie?
No.
Delicious.
Okay. Queenson, the Mr. Barry guy. Anyways,
I used to have, but that was my coach for basketball
Was he?
in middle school, Mr. Barry.
You got a thing for Queens?
No, I don't. He used to smoke weed on the golf course. He was also my golf team coach when I was a senior in high school.
That's where you go. Anyways, he's the center from UCLA. Grew up a Chargers fan, which is awesome. He was a big Nick Hardwick fan. He's gonna take actually.
Wait, what did you say?
He grew up a Chargers fan, and he's
big Nick Hardwick.
Nick Hardwick. Nick hard work.
Point
He's
to the
up.
easy work then.
Nick Hardwick,
this
man.
guy.
He's gonna take Nick Hardwick's number, and I love this pick. He's gonna sit behind penalty. He can just chill. They said his hands are like vice grips. That's what I read on the description of this guy. He played top talent. At the value you got him.
I think it was good value.
Yeah, that's really.
Yeah, I think it was a good pick.
Like I said, I love taking offensive linemen in the draft because you can never have too many offensive linemen. They always end up playing. At some point, you just see your guy trotting on the field. You're like, who's that guy's name?
You always see the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
If it's a linebacker or corner, you may never see a wide receiver. Who knows?
You run a sweet play, some guy that makes like $10 million a year is on his ground. You're like, oh, that's our tackle. Is a tackle important? And then all of a sudden you realize your whole team fell apart because of a tackle.
Shit, man.
Yeah,
they will.
To the non-knowing football fans, you've experienced this more than you know. This is what happens when you don't get offensive line depth. So that's what we did. This guy, he's a solid football player. I think he's going to have that heart and soul to want to play for the Chargers. It's a dream come true for this guy. I think it's kind of cool. We got two guys out of LA, too. We got the linebacker from USC, captain of their defense, and then we got the guy that lined up with Colton Miller at UCLA at center, and he's going to be, giving us some depth at that position.
What you should have done.
A- pick. A-.
What you should have done is traded up with the Raiders and drafted Josh Rosen, the UCLA kid, for your future. But
No.
Yeah, it would have been the way to go. But that's just my opinion.
We're winning a Super Bowl this year. We got Derwin James. Derwin James, bitch.
You guys had your chances. Wasted a Phillip Rivers Hall of Fame career. But I like the Scott boysenberry pick. I'm very,
Second these boysenberries.
I was listening to Nick Hardwick on the radio a couple of days ago, talking about the draft and the fact that Quisenberry was taking his number, and he was so stoked and just talking about young kid hungry on the offensive line, talking about the fact he looked up to a guy like Nick Hardwick, who a lot of people wouldn't even know who this guy is, but if you're real about the game and you're local around here, then you definitely know. I'm a big Hardwick fan, I'll tell you that much. Love listening to him on the radio. Was a great offensive lineman for the Chargers and the latter part of his career for the Patriots.
That never happened. That never.
Yeah, it did.
Nick Hardwick did not play for the Patriots.
Look it up right now.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
He had concussion problems, and that's why he stopped playing for the Chargers.
Look it up.
I will look it up. Do you want to bet $100 on this? Do you think Wikipedia is a good source? San Diego Chargers, personal life. That was it, bud. There's no other team. There's no other team then. Thank you, Nick Hardwick, for staying loyal.
We'll talk about your pick for one more second.
Scott Quisenberry. No, like I said, pretty much said everything I want to say about this guy. I guess, okay, the downside was he doesn't get a big push up front. He's probably going to be more of a pass protector or be known more for that. But you said when these guys get to the NFL, they can develop other skills, especially when they get time to sit back. They don't get rushed in. And when you got a guy like Mike Pouncey to learn from, I said this guy's going to make everybody tenacious. Maybe I'm putting too much on Mike Pouncey's shoulders, thinking maybe he's going to make everybody tenacious that he touches. But I think he does have that kind of impact. And this guy would have owed me $100 right now.
It wasn't Hardwick. It's the other guy he talks to, the guy who used to be a safety, Rich Ornberger. Used to be a Patriot. Those guys are like co-hosts. You know what I mean? Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, I know. Apologize to Nick Hardwick.
I apologize to you, Nick Hardwick.
Like,
I know you have a local craft beer named after you in San Diego, and many local burgers, I'm sure.
And he fought really hard to keep the Chargers in San Diego.
He's a great dude, man.
He was
really like the guy.
Front man.
I can tell just from listening to him on the radio that would be somebody that I would fucking drink a beer with. You know what I'm saying?
It's a guy you want on your football team. And this guy loves Scott Quisenberry.
Hard worker.
Scott Quisenberry loves him.
Yeah, I love that.
Bromance.
You know, I love this pick just because of the bromance. So we'll move on from the bromance pick. Although we all give it I'll give it an A. I like the pick a lot. I'll give it an A. I'll move it on, and especially in the 5th round, get a good like hard nosed offensive lineman that everybody's like scrambling for at the beginning of the draft. I think you found a good player here in the 5th round. You know, from Southern California, or went to school in Southern California.
How long do we have to talk about this pick for? How long do we have to go over this? You can introduce this guy, but no offense. Can we make it quick?
Marquette King was an All-Pro punter for the Raiders 2 years ago. Last year, he had 5 penalties called on himself, personal foul penalties. Those are 15 yards apiece. John Gruden came in and said, hey, we're not going to pay a punter amongst the top 3 salaries per year for a punter for some guy who's costing us 15 yards a pop on punts. And I was a big Marquette King fan, undrafted free agent when he came out, one of Reggie's steals. We developed him. It was Shane Leckler. Shane
Leckler would... All right, kick it farther.
Shane Leckler, go find a guy who has more All Pros than Shane Leckler.
I'm just wondering how much you can develop a punter.
Go find him.
I'm not doubting Shane Leckler. He was a great punter. You guys definitely utilized him as much as any other team utilized their punter.
He was just an athletic guy, and like he put up. Go look at the numbers.
I'm saying he's a great punter, and I'm glad you guys needed a punter more than anybody for his time in Oakland. But anyways. I just feel like that we've spent too much time on punters already. I think that
punters, we haven't even talked about punters.
I know. We've already overdone our time.
Yeah, well,
I said punters 3 times.
Can I say the guy's name?
Go ahead. Speak quick. This guy, he punts the ball. It's really great. He's one of the top guys at it. He's trust me. He's one of my friends.
Johnny Townsend, Florida punter. He had the highest gross net punting average. He's an SEC dominant punter. Like, punters don't get picked in the 5th round, but like this guy got picked in the 5th, and like, all right, we'll move on because this guy's so fucking upset. Fills a team need. It's an A pick. It was a very good pick. And we also got, as an undrafted free agent, the kicker from the same squad. They may wind up just fucking rocking our special teams this year. So we'll move on to...
I'll say C pick because this guy is only drafted in the 5th round because John Gruden has to make up for dropping an all-pro punter. So he has to make sure he has a good one. He was forced to do this.
Well, actually, there was a much higher rated punter out of Texas who got drafted within the 10 picks before this. And,
Still a reach. Go ahead. Anyways.
Whatever. Reggie McKenzie claims that this was his guy. So we'll see.
Reggie McKenzie and John Gruden are going to be spitting out tons of lies.
Apparently with this guy, if you really want the breakdown of the punter, he's a big leg and doesn't direct it well. Not enough inside the 20, a lot too much throughout the back of the end zone. But that's what Marquette King was when he came into the league. Kick it out the back of the end zone, learn how to corner kick, Boom. Like, just fucking, develop him. It's a punter. Let's move on.
All right. Round 6, 191st pick, Dylan Contrell out of Texas Tech, wide receiver. This guy, great hands. This is what you say, but I mean, you're late in the draft, so we'll just get straight to the weaknesses. He's kind of slow. He doesn't run that fast. He's definitely set up to be a slot guy. He doesn't have those physical traits of speed and size and arm length that you kind of hope for, but his hands are what make it happen. If this guy's going to make it in the NFL, he's going to have to learn to use his body to box out guys. I could see him maybe down in the red zone. I mean, Chargers red zone offense wasn't that great.
Special teams.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. This is definitely one of those picks you're like, I need special teams help. Dylan Contrell. If this guy sees the field as a wide receiver, it means that we are in trouble because we lost Mike Williams, Tyrell Williams, Travis Benjamin, or Keenan Allen. And I'm pretty sure there'll probably be another guy that moves up the depth chart other than this guy. But you said good for special teams. This is when you really got to start thinking about building that part of the football.
How do you make the roster?
Yeah.
How do you develop as a wide receiver? You got to make the roster on special teams.
Yeah, especially when you're picked round 6. And so they said he's got great hands, so like maybe that might be able to help him out if he is asked to play in the offense. But other than that, he said you're going to see him as a gunner, you're going to see him as a kick off return specialist. So I'm going to say.
Wait, you think he's a kick return?
Oh, I apologize. A kick return defense.
Okay, yeah. You're gonna play on all the special team squads. You know, and this is the round 6th, 7th. Who fucking knows? Who knows?
But honestly, I like the size when you're playing. As a gunner because you need to be a little bit tougher. So, I mean, I'm gonna give the pick a B minus. I was kind of hoping somewhere we'd get a tackle in this draft. I'll talk about that later, but that was really. Maybe a place to do that. Not that you're getting great value, but at least
a body.
A body, yeah. I mean, Russell Okung did great last year with staying healthy. Joe Barksdale he's not a bad tackle, but in our division he looks bad because he plays against top pass rushers all the time.
Drafted that guy.
Well,
like I want to say the 4th round. I'm gonna have to check later. I'm gonna have to check myself when I watch this. What round was that? So
you'll think of it right away as soon as you watch.
We'll move on from Dylan Contrell. By the way, the Raiders picked a much better wide receiver in round 7 that we'll get to. After our round 6 pick, number 216, Azim Victor, linebacker, Washington. This is a guy, lottery ticket draft, 6th round. Had a really good 2016, had a bad 2017. Character issues, DUI charge, got suspended.
Putting this guy in Vegas in 2 years. Remember
so this guy 2 years. Who knows if any of these guys are on the roster in 2 years? And by the way, if there's mentorship, put him in Vegas, put him in San Diego. Every time I'm in Vegas, I'm like, I want to go home to San Diego. Vegas ain't that cool.
Vegas is cool if you're a millionaire.
It gets old after 2 days. If you stay there for 3 or 4 days, like I've done a 4-day trip, 3 nights, 4th day leaving. Too much. Fucking too much, man. I don't even, when you're
anybody that's never been to Vegas, 1 day in Vegas is like 3 days in the real world. Because you're not really sleeping. You're going on it as hard as you can. So everything is just full speed, and you give it everything you got.
Get over that Vegas shit real quick. Because you go full steam ahead.
Yeah, and it's time. At a certain point, you're like, I gotta go. The Hangover movie was not even exaggerated. That shit happens. It's every day in that town.
It's ridiculous.
And that's where these guys are going. They're all gonna live there.
Oh yeah, in a couple years when these guys are like young, like middle-aged, like middle 20s, like developed guys. Then we worry about our rookies in Vegas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you got to worry about a guy, don't draft him. But like we drafted some guys, we got to worry about. Every team does, man. How do you get Tyrann Mathieu if you don't like take the chance?
Because you got Patrick Peterson there to be there for him.
Okay, so why do you take Arden Key? Because you got a Khalil Mack, Bruce Irvin there to where
Well, that guy wasn't close with Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin. Patrick Pearson, Tyrann Mathieu they were kind of brothers at LSU. They definitely had each other's back. And
Tyrann Mathieu.
Mathieu.
That's not.
Mathieu.
That's not like Troy Polamalu.
Mathieu.
So Zim Victor,
Mathieu.
Tyrann Mathieu is his name. Man,
Mathieu?
that's how it's
Mathieu.
pronounced.
Mathieu.
Haven't you watched any games? These are talking about him and Patrick Peterson. Me and that guy, we all circle jerked each other. Like, what are you talking about?
It was only one time.
Yeah. I bet it was glorious.
Yeah.
I bet it was glory holish.
And we all came at the same time. It was beautiful.
To like one of those like classic like symphony songs, like bum 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 bum.
It was like the Bellagio fountain.
Wow. More like the Lagio fountain.
Oh.
It's not a good joke. Azim Victor, I'll give it a fucking C. It's a reach. It's not a reach. This talented guy, off the field issues, a lot of off the field issues. Apparently, we're just going to dictate the culture. Yeah, if he doesn't, I feel like some of these guys that got drafted, if they don't fucking match the fucking culture, they're just going to get cut. You know what I'm saying? And this guy is the essence of that. Bro, I'll fast forward. 7th round, Marcel Aitman, wide receiver, Oklahoma State. The Raiders took him at 228 overall, and this was one of Mason Rudolph's targets. That's why he went so high. I know they said a lot about Washington, the other wide receiver, but this guy's 6'4" and a half, 216 pounds, ran a sluggish 4.62 40. But he's a physical specimen. There were draft grades where this guy went in the 3rd round, 3rd to 5th. If you look up,
He was just too slow, or what?
He ran that 4.62 40 in that 3rd to 5th round projection. Dropped to 7. Raiders take a guy. If I'm going to take a lottery ticket at 7 in the 7th round, I love this wide receiver. He's a lot better than a lot of guys taken before him, especially Dylan Contrell. And I'll tell you this much. I think it's a good move, man. Look at special teams. You look at red zone preference. It's like
Nah, he's all right. I like him.
he's all right.
If you're gonna get an A in the 7th round, I will give you an A in the 7th round because
I feel like he was a steal in the 7th round. He could have gone in the 5th, 4th, 3rd, possibly. Is what they were saying.
that's what they were saying. Whatever they are.
I talk shit about they when it's against me, but when it's for me, I promote.
They are experts.
All
right.
That's how it works.
I'm gonna go to our. Is this the last pick?
This is the last
The last pick. All right, round.
Woo!
Round 7.
Round 7. Well, mine was
31st pick in the
251st pick.
This
You
guy-
cannot read my handwriting.
No. Rory's bad handwriting, bro.
It's fucking beautiful handwriting. Look at this. Is that not good handwriting? It's very good.
Yeah.
It's very clean. You guys can read it. Fuck that. You know what? Before this pick, the Raiders made a trade in the 7th round, so I'll talk about it. The Raiders traded a 2nd round bust from 2 draft classes ago, defensive tackle Jihad Ward, to the Cowboys for wide receiver, kick returner
Who's
Ryan.
Jihad Ward?
Exactly. A waste of a draft pick in the 2nd round. We traded for a guy who was drafted last year in the 4th round by the Cowboys, Ryan Switzer. Tied the NCAA record for kick returns for touchdowns with 5 in 2016. Small dude, Wes Welker-like. I know that's a common comparison because he's white.
Because he's white.
Because he's white and tiny. But, you're going to return kicks like that, you got to be a little bit Wes Welker-like. He's got hands. I think he'll make the roster as our 6th wide receiver. I think we solved our kick return issues after trading Cordarrelle Patterson to the Patriots by trading a huge draft bust for a guy who got traded in the 4th round or got drafted in the 4th round last year. Jihad Ward should have been like a 7th round undrafted pick.
Yeah.
So reach at 2nd. So we trade that guy somehow. I never thought we would have been able to trade this guy for value. So I got to give this trade an A plus before Welty goes. I got to give it an A plus because we made the trade before his next pick. A plus, super plus. I know the best people, and this guy's one of them. So I'll let him go from here. But we stole that guy.
Yeah, okay. So now that we're done talking about the history of the Raiders draft bust, we can move on to round
One draft
7
bust.
of the draft with the 251st pick. This is going to be Justin Jackson. He's a running back out of Northwestern. This guy's 6 foot tall, 193 pounds. 4 straight season of 1,000 yards. He is undersized, but he is all around. He can play running back. I think this guy will be a good scat back. Definitely
I like
third
him.
round. I did like the pick. We did lose Brandon Oliver. Not that he was essential, but we definitely have guys ahead of him on the depth chart that are
I
going
would
to get the
call him
touches.
Black.
Melvin?
No, Brandon Oliver.
Oh, I mean, he was good, but then he got hurt and it was over.
I would call him Whack.
And you're whack,
All facts, no whack.
except for him. All right, no, okay. So as the third running back behind Austin Eckler, I like this guy. So he's consistently shown that he can play running back in college. He's like I say, he's a little undersized, but he's not going to be asked to carry the ball ever more than 20 times a game. So behind Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, this guy, his scat back style, catch balls out of the backfield, most likely won't play that much, but good depth at a position that you need depth in. Your running backs can get hurt at any time. They're one of the most, I think, consistent players to get hurt in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, I'll give this guy a B plus. I have a hard time giving A's in the 7th round. I'll give your guys an A because
I'll give him an A.
he fell too, but he's super slow.
I'll give him an A because just for this pure fun fact alone, one of only 9 players in NCAA history to record 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons as a running back. So if I can't give that an A, like I can't give any of my own late round draft picks an A, like Amen. So I like the pick. These days, like I really like Latavius Murray, who the Raiders were rolling with a few years back. He was a 6th round draft pick. You can find quality, serviceable running backs late in the draft, and to be one of 9 to accomplish something like that, that's just cool by itself. You know what I mean?
You already like
If
this
you can
guy.
if you can count them on this many fingers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in college football, where there's like 200 teams every single year.
Yes, the number of players who had the opportunity to accomplish that, it's a pretty cool fun fact. So I'll give it an A just for the fun fact. But here, let's break it down, Welty. It's been a very fun podcast. We always like to get down and make it happen. When it comes down to football, making it happen with the podcast, making it happen with the money. When it comes to day to day, we're grinding. But we're out here doing this for us, for you. It's community. So how do you feel overall? This is a terrible tie-in. Let's try. This was free streaming. This is a terrible. How do you feel overall? What would you grade the Chargers draft pick, their draft class, their draft picks overall, collective as a draft class? What would be your overall grade for the Los Angeles Chargers 2018 draft class?
I'm gonna go with a B plus. That's what I'm gonna go with. The only reason they get a B plus is because they didn't get any depth at tackle position, which this draft was supposed to be. Having a lot of talent at that position, but other than that, like Derwin James falling to at 17 is freaking steal.
That elevates the class just by itself.
Yeah, that's a game changer. I said a lot of people thought we reached for the number 2 pick. He was the captain USC. I think he's going to play great as a 4-3 outside linebacker. I think he's underrated. Justin Jones, like I said, he was my lowest rated pick for us just because I really wanted us to. If we're gonna get defensive tackle, let's get a run defensive tackle. We got those pass rushers. Let them do the work and let these inside guys worry about the run. But you know what? We got depth. That's fine. You said 4 straight defensive picks. The last one being Kaiser White, who's a hard-hitting tweener, safety, linebacker guy. He said he's going to be
In
hopefully,
today's NFL, yeah.
yeah, like a Tavius Brown fill-in. And then the last 3 picks,
I like that center,
Quinsbury.
Quisenberry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Great pick in the 5th.
Yeah, like honestly, it was getting offensive lineman depth.
Great
And
pick in the 5th.
Forrest Lamp is still coming back from his injury. Maybe this guy moves to guard if he can't recover all
That
the
guy
way.
will set up a lamp and watch this guy take his fucking position over.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Take his job.
Dylan Contrell. Like,
I don't like that one. That's the only pick I don't like.
I think that's a special teams pick, and
Yeah.
if you look at that guy's hands, it's impressive. That's all I'm gonna say. It's like the guy catches everything. Even when you go to NFL, if a guy is all over you and you can catch everything, you can still make things happen. But he's a special teams guy. Let's just get real. And then
If
Justin
he makes the
Jackson,
roster.
yeah, he's a proven guy that can play
I like
running
this,
back,
you know,
and he's gonna.
If you're going to have a 7th round pick that you like,
Yeah, he's a position of need in terms of needing depth at the position.
I really like the 7th round pick of Justin Jackson.
Yeah.
I think that's like, if you can get a good pick in the 7th round, that's the definition of a good pick in the 7th round. I'll give the Chargers draft class an overall.
He wants to give us an A. He really does.
No, like I'm gonna give him a. I'm wavering on B minus or B. I'll give it a. It's tough to give out A's for a whole draft class. I'll give it a B.
B plus minimum.
It's not
I
a
was
B
trying
plus.
not to be biased.
I'm
over
not.
there.
Oh, this guy went in an A. I don't feel like you guys filled out. You barely knew nothing about your linebacker in the 2nd round. It's a huge pick.
What are you talking about? Look at me. All right, I'll look this guy up real quick.
No,
How
I'll
many
see.
passes, defenses he had?
Justin Jones. Like, I like that they filled the interior of the line. I gotta say, as a caveat right now, take this guy's grade higher than mine. He knows his roster better. He's researched these players more. You know, I feel like the grade that he was going to give my team is automatically gone down based on.
You guys are getting enough.
So he's going to talk shit anyways. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I like the 1st round draft pick. I like the positions that they drafted. I like some of the later round picks, number 5 and 7, round 5 and round 7 that they took. And I got to give them a solid B, which is a great grade for a draft. A solid B. This guy, you got an A plus. Every guy who's
I said a B plus. I didn't say an A plus.
well, you're thinking in your mind A plus. You know,
I wanted a tackle.
Everybody on their own team, they're like, oh
I
yeah, we
wanted
did
a
a great draft. You know, I've been justifying mine, but I feel really strong about mine. So we took Colton Miller, offensive tackle, trade down. We get Martavis Bryant. We get the 1st or 2nd best tackle in the draft on most scouts boards. 2nd round. We take a small school defensive tackle who was ridiculously Madden rookie level, playing the game, dominant at defensive tackle. His stats were ridiculous. And his pro day was ridiculous. 4.7 as a defensive tackle. He's running tight end speed. All right. In my opinion, we reached for a tackle in the 3rd round in Brandon Parker. Offensive line, man. This guy just said, you can't get enough offensive line.
I love offensive
You
line.
need the offensive line. My whole life is now justifying the offensive line after this draft. And I believe in it. The tackles, you got it. Let's keep Carr upright. I get it. I understand. Let's keep Carr upright. If you miss on the 1st, maybe you hit on the 2nd. If you didn't hit on the 2nd, maybe he's depth. Move him to guard. He's an offensive lineman who's skilled and talented. We'll make something out of him. You know what I mean? What do you say? You'll see, you don't know if you're a defensive tackle or your defensive end or your linebacker or cornerback, but your lineman will see the field.
Yeah,
Your lineman
they're
will
to
see
show up.
this guy will be on the field this season. So, that's a great point.
All right, sorry, I just have to go back to Ukena Nwosu. He defended 13 passes last year as a defensive end pass rusher.
That's amazing.
That's impressive. That is understanding passing lanes.
PJ Hall blocked 14 kicks.
Well, that's fine at Sam Houston State. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's still a field goal.
Sam
Okay,
Houston,
like it's still a field goal, bro. All right. So like, this is my part. So Arden Key, character issues. It's a first round talent with a third round head issue, and we'll see. Can we mentor him? Nick Nelson, solid corner, good pick at fourth. Mo Hurst, biggest boomer buster of the entire draft. If this guy lives up to his ability and can actually keep living,
If this guy lives.
first round talent. I saw one scout who said it was irresponsible for a team to pick him. But that's some idiot that I could probably take his job.
Rory said if he was drafted in the first round that he would automatically claim that as the biggest bust of the first round.
I did say that because I didn't think he was a first round draft pick because of the medical issues. And also because he was undersized as a defensive tackle. But like he's the size of Aaron Donald with about the same length of arms, and he all of his numbers from his pro day are better than Donald's combine numbers. So,
Aaron Donald's like the Hulk, bro. Anyways.
he squatted 700 pounds. This guy's stronger than Aaron Donald, by the way. So we'll move down. We got a punter in the 5th round we really needed. We took a linebacker in the 6th round as a flyer with head case off the field issues, who's put some really good tape on. And we picked a wide receiver in the 7th round who some people had gone early in the draft process before he ran a sluggish 4.62 in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. So I think it's a great pick in the 7th round. And I'd overall give the Raiders draft class, I can't give them higher than a B because of how many boomer bust prospects there are as a part of it. I feel really good. I feel A about it, but I can't give them a B because I can't give them higher than a B because who knows how it's going to work out. So that's the grade I'm going to give them, and that's where we're at. That's an Effin grade that I've given the Raiders for the 2018 draft class.
My problem is it's like there's not a lot of guys in that draft class where you feel great about.
What do you feel great about? Derwin James? That's it.
I
That's
love
it.
Derwin James. Yeah.
That's it. Then you feel good about the later ones? I feel good about Nick Nelson. I feel great
I
about
love
Mo Hurst.
Nuoso. I already mentioned that I think he's going to fit great into his
I love PJ Hall. The more you research him, did you love Nuoso? Did you love Nuoso when you heard his name before you research him?
When I researched him, I loved him because I loved
Did you love when you first heard Nuoso and you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, because I don't watch college football.
Well, I love PJ Hall. So I'll tell you,
did you hear PJ Hall? And you're like, oh, I love that guy. I love that guy. He's so great.
After I read about him and watched the tape, I love the PJ Hall thing.
Same here.
That's what I'm saying.
Same thing I did too. But just so many question marks.
You have the same question marks. Justin Jones, I have 2 defensive tackles on my draft better than this guy.
No.
I've got 2.
You got one guy that's probably going to die and maybe be 2 years and out of the league, which is why he fell to the 5th round. It's PJ Hall from Sam Houston State, who's really good at blocking kicks.
And tackles for loss 84 and sacks 42.
Sam Houston State. That's all you gotta say. Sam Houston State.
Dude,
inflated stats at Sam Houston State.
Ask Phillip Rivers about it this year. That's an effing guarantee. I'll make an effing guarantee that PJ Hall sacks Phillip Rivers this year.
Ooh, it's a bold statement, son.
And I owe this guy $100 already.
So this guy is gonna get past Meg Pouncey. Okay. All right. Okay. That's a bold statement.
He will.
Good luck. Anyways,
I owe him $100 already, or else I would do an effing bet right now.
C+ for the Raiders. Like I said, it could.
C+? Oh man, I gotta take an F and P.
It could turn into an A+. It could turn into an F-. But like Rory said before, when he was grading one of his picks, he said it's either gonna be an A or an F. There's no in between. I feel like that's what Raiders draft is. So they get a C. They get a C on that one. I'll give it a C+ because. Actually, Arden Key is the one I think could actually be a really good contributor. He's the one that gives you the plus. Mo Hurst, I liked Mo Hurst, but there's a lot of reasons people did not have him on the draft board. There's just one solid reason that everybody kind of believed in, except for the Raiders. But yeah, asking the analyst, all these people that watch football, they know. It's like, that was a risk. That was a risk. That was a risk.
I don't know. Go look at the analysts. The highest graded fucking thing on our fucking draft board by these analysts that you love so much.
I love
Suck their
analysts.
dicks.
I didn't have
You know what I
Matthew
mean?
Berry draft my fantasy team.
Yeah, yeah. Like, my fantasy
Matthew
team.
Berry loves
yeah.
Marcus Mariota.
Because I had the highest scoring team in the last 2 weeks of the year when I barely missed the playoffs. Holla at your boy. These guys don't know shit. It's the Effin Football Podcast. Welty knows a little thing, man. I'll tell you about anybody
I'm just
else.
gonna say, if
rest
you
of
had
these
David
fucking
Johnson
idiots.
and you took him #1 overall, and you still made the playoffs over this guy after he gets hurt,
Yeah, we'll see.
maybe
We'll
you
see,
got some football knowledge.
We'll see this year. All right, you know who they watch the podcast for. It's your motherfucker right here, man. It's your boy. I know the last podcast got not as many views, but holla at your boy. We out here, and thank you so much for being a part of it. And if you like us, follow us at Twitter at Effin Football, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you guys just want to
Effin
comment,
Football.
talk football.
Dude, we will.
That's all we want to do is talk football.
We will work with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we will.
We'll
talk football with anybody.
We'll respond. You know what I'm saying?
Even if you're a dick, we will respond.
Hey, lights out. Checks out on the motherfucking podcast. Thanks again, man. Setso B on the theme song. You know what I mean?
Hey, and I need all pros. And I'm a shit.
And we're sponsored by Coors Light. Holla at your boy,
Rory
Rory JC. We're signing off.
Yeah, bitch, young ruthless. And niggas talking crazy on the net. But don't do shit. Got your strap, wrong move, he'll shoot you.
Peace.
Make that bitch spit like it's booming. Niggas so close, so they